I knew the exact moment my marriage ended, though it took me 6 more months to admit it. It wasn't when I found the receipt from the hotel downtown, or when I noticed the new cologne he'd started wearing, or even when he began working late 4 nights a week. It was the Tuesday evening in March when he came home, kissed my forehead the way he always did, and I felt absolutely nothing. No anger, no hurt, just a vast, quiet emptiness where 12 years of love used to live. His name was Marcus, my husband, the man I'd met in a crowded coffee shop when I was 24, who'd proposed to me on a beach in Santorini, who'd held my hand through 2 miscarriages and never once made me feel like I'd failed him. Or maybe he had been that man once. I wasn't sure anymore. The person who slept beside me now felt like a stranger wearing Marcus's face, speaking with his voice, but somehow fundamentally different in ways I couldn't articulate but could feel in every cell of my body. I discovered the affair by accident, the way these things usually happen. It was a Saturday morning, and Marcus had left his phone on the kitchen counter while he showered. I wasn't looking for anything. I was making coffee, and the screen lit up with a text notification. Just a preview. 2 lines visible. Last night was perfect. I can't stop thinking about. The rest was cut off. The sender was saved as J. Reeves Accounting. My hands didn't shake. My heart didn't race. I simply stood there, watching steam rise from my coffee mug, and thought with perfect clarity, so that's what this has been. I could have confronted him right then, walked upstairs, phone in hand, demanded answers. Part of me wanted to, but a larger part, the part that had been feeling his distance for months, noticing the way his eyes slid past me instead of landing on me, sensing the careful choreography he performed to avoid real intimacy. That part already knew the answers would only hurt, and I wasn't ready for that hurt yet. So I did something that would later seem either cowardly or impossibly brave, depending on how I was feeling that day. I did nothing. I set his phone back exactly where he'd left it, and went about my Saturday as if the world hadn't just shifted on its axis. Over the following weeks, I became a detective of my own life, not actively investigating. I wasn't going through drawers or checking credit card statements, but simply paying attention in a way I hadn't before. The signs were everywhere once I knew to look for them. The way he tilted his phone away from me when we sat on the couch, the Tuesday and Thursday evening project meetings that ran until 9 or 10, the fact that he'd started going to the gym 4 mornings a week when he'd barely exercised in years, the new shirts, the better haircut, the energy that seemed to return to him in waves, but never when he was home with me. What surprised me most was how calm I remained. Friends had told me stories of discovering affairs, describing the rage, the tears, the confrontations. I felt none of that. Instead, I felt like an anthropologist studying a civilization from a distance, taking notes, making observations, trying to understand how we'd arrived at this point, because surely we'd both arrived here together, even if only one of us had chosen to step outside our marriage. I tried to remember when things had changed. Was it after the second miscarriage? We'd tried for 3 years to have a baby, and after losing the second pregnancy at 16 weeks, we'd both retreated into ourselves. He'd thrown himself into work, I'd thrown myself into my job at the nonprofit, staying late, volunteering for weekend events, anything to avoid the empty nursery we'd painted sage green with white clouds on the ceiling. We'd been running parallel to each other for so long, I wasn't sure we knew how to intersect anymore. Or maybe it was before that. Maybe it was gradual, the way most deaths are. 1,000 small disconnections, conversations postponed, touches withheld, moments of vulnerability met with distraction instead of presence. Maybe we'd been dying for years, and I was only now noticing the body had grown cold. The strange thing was, once I knew, I started seeing Marcus more clearly than I had in months. I watched him across the dinner table, this man I'd loved for over a decade, and tried to understand who he'd become. He'd grown a beard, which suited him. He laughed more at his phone. He seemed younger somehow, despite being 38. There was a lightness to him that hadn't been there before, and I realized with a sharp pang that he was happy. Not happy with me, but happy in spite of me. "You seem good lately," I said one evening in April. We were eating Thai takeout at the kitchen island, him scrolling through his phone, me pretending to read a book. He looked up, surprised. Do I? Yeah, you seem, I don't know, energized. Something flickered across his face. Guilt, maybe, or fear. But he covered it quickly with a smile. Just been sleeping better, I guess, and the gym is helping. That's good, I said, and meant it. Or thought I did. The emotions were getting tangled, harder to sort. You okay? He asked. You've been quiet lately. I'm fine, I said, which was the lie we'd both been telling for longer than either of us probably realized. He nodded, accepting it the way you accept weather you can't change, and went back to his phone. To her, probably. J. Reeves. I wondered what the J stood for. Jessica? Jennifer? Jane? I wondered if she was younger than me, prettier, funnier. I wondered if she knew about me, or if Marcus had told her the marriage was already over, dead in all but paperwork. I wondered if that was even a lie. The weeks passed. Spring turned the world green outside our windows. I went to work, came home, made dinner or picked up takeout. Marcus and I orbited each other like planets with no gravitational pull, touching occasionally out of habit but never truly connecting. We had sex once in those months, on a Saturday night after we'd been to a friend's wedding. We were both slightly drunk, and the romance of the event had created a temporary bridge between us. But even as he moved above me, his eyes closed, I felt like he was somewhere else, with someone else. And I closed my own eyes and let him finish. And afterward, we lay in the dark, not speaking, and I knew it wouldn't happen again. I could have ended it then. Should have, probably. But there was something almost peaceful about the knowing without the confrontation. As long as I didn't say the words out loud, I know you're having an affair. I didn't have to deal with the aftermath. The lawyers, the division of assets, the explanation to friends and family, the grief of a marriage officially ended. I could exist in this liminal space, neither fully married nor fully single, and it felt safer somehow than facing the truth. Then one Tuesday in late May, everything changed. I was at the grocery store, absently pushing my cart through the produce section, when I heard someone call my name. Natalie? Natalie Chen? I turned to see a woman about my age, maybe a few years younger, with auburn hair and striking green eyes. She was smiling, friendly, and completely unfamiliar. I'm sorry, I said. Do we know each other? Oh, no, not really. I'm Julia. Julia Reeves. We met briefly at the Horizons Gala last year. You work at the Children's Foundation, right? The world tilted. Julia Reeves. J. Reeves. The other woman was standing 3 feet away from me, holding a basket of organic vegetables, wearing yoga pants and a friendly smile, acting like she was just another acquaintance making polite conversation in the produce aisle. Right, I managed. I remember. I didn't. How are you? She asked, and her warmth seemed genuine. How's Marcus? There it was. The casual mention of my husband's name by the woman who was sleeping with him. My face must have done something, because her smile faltered slightly. He's good, I said. Working a lot, but good. That's great. He's such a dedicated guy. She said it with admiration, maybe even affection, and I realized she had no idea who I was. Marcus had told her his wife's name, but apparently not what she looked like. Or Julia hadn't been paying attention. Either way, she was standing here, talking to the wife of the man she was fucking, completely oblivious. Something in me shifted. Maybe it was the surreality of the moment. Maybe it was the months of pretending. But I heard myself say, "Do you have time for coffee?" She looked surprised, but pleased. Sure, there's a place just next door. 20 minutes later, we were sitting across from each other at a small table, cappuccinos between us, and I was learning all about the woman my husband was in love with, because that's what I'd decided to do. Not confront her, not reveal who I was, but to understand her, to see what Marcus saw, to know who had succeeded where I had failed. Julia was 32, never married, no kids. She worked in accounting for a firm downtown, not with Marcus, but in the same building, which was how they'd met. She liked hiking, trying new restaurants, and traveling. She'd been to 17 countries. She was training for a marathon. She was funny and self-deprecating and easy to talk to. She was, I realized with a sinking feeling, lovely. "Are you seeing anyone?" I asked, trying to keep my voice casual. Her cheeks colored slightly. "Sort of. It's complicated." "Complicated how?" "He's married." She said it quietly, looking down at her coffee. "I know how that sounds. I never thought I'd be that person, you know? The other woman. But it's not like that. He and his wife, they're basically done. They're just going through the motions until they figure out how to separate without destroying each other." I felt like I was watching this conversation from outside my body. "Did he tell you that?" "Yeah, I mean, I've seen it too. He's so unhappy at home. He says they haven't really been together, emotionally, in years. They're like roommates." She looked up, her eyes earnest. "I feel terrible about it. I really do. I never wanted to be the reason a marriage ends. But sometimes people grow apart, you know? Sometimes love just runs out." "Sometimes," I agreed, my voice hollow. "I keep telling myself that if it wasn't me, it would be someone else. That their marriage was over already. But I still feel guilty." She laughed, but it sounded pained. "Sorry, I don't know why I'm telling you all this. You must think I'm terrible." "No," I said honestly, "I don't think you're terrible." She gave me a grateful smile. "Thanks, most people would judge." "It's more complicated than most people think," I said. "Relationships are." We talked for another hour. She told me about her childhood in Oregon, her close relationship with her sister, her job aspirations. She was smart and ambitious, but also vulnerable in a way that made me understand exactly why Marcus had been drawn to her. She was everything I used to be before life had made me harder, more guarded. She still believed in romance, in the possibility of happiness, in the idea that love could conquer complicated circumstances. And as she talked, I realized something that made my chest ache. She was falling in love with him. Maybe had already fallen. This wasn't just an affair to her. She was building a future in her mind. One where Marcus left me and chose her. Where they traveled together and trained for marathons together and built the life he'd told her he wanted. "He talks about you sometimes," she said suddenly. "His wife. He feels awful about hurting her." "Does he?" The question came out sharper than I intended. She nodded. "He says she's a good person, that she deserves better, but that they've become strangers to each other." She paused. "He says sometimes you can love someone and still be wrong for each other." I thought about that, about all the ways Marcus and I had been right for each other once, how we'd laughed together, dreamed together, built a life together, how somewhere along the way, we'd stopped being partners and become two people sharing space, going through motions, waiting for something neither of us could name. "Maybe that's true," I said finally. When we exchanged numbers before parting, "We should do this again," Julia said brightly. I saved her contact as simply Julia, no last name, as if that made it less real somehow. I drove home in a daze, walked into our house, mine and Marcus's, still decorated with our wedding photos and the art we'd collected together over the years, and stood in the kitchen trying to process what had just happened. I'd met her. I'd sat across from her, drunk coffee with her, listened to her talk about my husband, and I hadn't said a word about who I was. Marcus came home around 9 that night. "Sorry I'm late," he said, kissing my forehead in his habitual way. "Project meeting ran long." "Tuesday meeting," I said. "What?" "You said project meeting, but it's Tuesday. You always have meetings on Tuesdays and Thursdays." He looked at me carefully. "Right, Tuesday meeting. How was it?" "Fine. Long. You know how it is." He loosened his tie, avoiding my eyes. "Have you eaten?" I grabbed something earlier. I watched him move around the kitchen, this familiar stranger. "Marcus? Yeah? Are you happy?" He froze, his hand on the refrigerator door. What kind of question is that? A simple one. Are you happy? In your life, in our marriage, with me? He turned to face me, and for a moment I saw real fear in his eyes. Where is this coming from? I'm just wondering. We've been married 12 years, and I'm not sure I know anymore. I kept my voice gentle, not accusing. Are you happy? He was quiet for a long time. Then, are you? I asked you first. Natalie. He ran a hand through his hair, a gesture I'd seen 1,000 times. I don't know what you want me to say. The truth would be good. The truth is complicated. Most true things are. We stared at each other across the kitchen, and I saw him decide not to have this conversation. Saw him choose, once again, to avoid rather than confront. I'm tired, he said. Can we not do this tonight? Sure, I said. We can not do it tonight. He went upstairs. I stayed in the kitchen, staring at my reflection in the window over the sink. Somewhere across the city, Julia was probably texting him, asking about his day, telling him she missed him, building their secret life, while I maintained the pretense of our public one. The next morning, I texted Julia. Thanks for the coffee yesterday. Would love to do it again soon. She responded immediately. Yes, I'm free Friday. Over the next month, Julia and I became friends. Or at least, she thought we were friends. I'm still not sure what I thought we were. We met for coffee, for lunch, once for a yoga class she invited me to. She talked about her life, her job, her frustrations with dating, the married guy, she called him, as if saying Marcus would make it too real. I listened. I asked questions. I tried to understand. I think I'm going to end it, she told me over salads one afternoon in June. It's been 7 months, and he still hasn't left her. He keeps saying he will, that he's waiting for the right time, but maybe there is no right time. Maybe I'm just being stupid. Maybe he's scared, I said. Of what? Starting over? Being alone? She stabbed at her lettuce. I'm scared too, but I'm not lying to someone about it. Maybe he's scared of hurting her. You're really defending him? She gave me a look. No, just trying to understand his perspective. Well, his perspective is selfish. If he's unhappy, he should leave. If he wants to be with me, he should choose me. This limbo we're in, it's killing me. I deserve better than half a relationship. You do, I agreed and meant it. She sighed. I'm going to tell him. This weekend. Either he commits to leaving his wife and being with me, or I'm done. I felt something cold settle in my stomach. That's brave. Or stupid. I'm not sure there's a difference anymore. She looked at me. Have you ever been in love with someone you couldn't have? Yes, I said, thinking about the man Marcus used to be, the marriage we used to have. How did you get over it? I haven't. She reached across the table and squeezed my hand. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to make this about me. It's okay, I said. Sometimes it helps to talk about it. That night, Marcus and I had dinner at home together. A rare occurrence. I'd made pasta, one of his favorites, though I wasn't sure why I'd bothered. This is nice, he said. We should do this more often. You're never home. I know. Work has been crazy. Right. Work. I twirled pasta on my fork, watching him. Marcus, if you were going to leave me, how would you do it? He choked on his wine. What? Hypothetically. If our marriage was over, how would you end it? Would you just announce it one day? Would you plan it out? Would you wait for the perfect moment? Why are you asking me this? His face had gone pale. Because I think we both know something is wrong. Has been wrong for a while. And I'm trying to understand if we're going to do anything about it, or just keep pretending. I'm not pretending anything. Aren't you? He set down his fork. If you have something to say, Natalie, just say it. I almost did. Almost said, I know about Julia. I've known for months, and I've been having coffee with her, becoming her friend, listening to her talk about you, trying to understand how we got here. But I didn't. Instead, I said, I just think we need to be honest with each other about what this is now, what we are. What do you think we are? I think we're two people who used to love each other very much, who went through something hard, and who never learned how to find each other again afterward. His eyes filled with tears, and I realized I hadn't seen him cry in years. I don't know how to fix this. Maybe it can't be fixed. Don't say that. Why not, if it's true? Because He wiped his eyes. Because we're supposed to fight for it, aren't we? That's what marriage is. Fighting for it, even when it's hard. And have you been fighting, Marcus? Because from where I'm sitting, it looks like you've been running. He couldn't meet my eyes. And in that moment, I knew he knew that I knew. Maybe not the details, but the truth underneath. That he'd checked out of our marriage. That he'd found something else, someone else, somewhere else to put his heart. I'm sorry, he whispered. For what? For failing you, for failing us. We both failed, I said. You're just the only one who found a parachute. He looked up sharply. What does that mean? But I just shook my head. I wasn't ready to have that conversation yet. Wasn't ready to blow up the careful dance we'd been doing. The next day, Julia texted me. Can we meet? Emergency. We met at the coffee shop. She looked like she'd been crying, her eyes red, mascara smudged. I told him, she said as soon as I sat down. I gave him the ultimatum, and he said he needs time, more time, to figure things out. She laughed bitterly. 7 months wasn't enough time, apparently. What are you going to do? I don't know. Part of me wants to walk away. But part of me keeps thinking about all the things he's said, all the promises he's made, about how good we are together, about the future we could have. Julia, I said carefully, what if the future you want with him isn't the one he's capable of giving you? You sound like you're on his wife's side. I'm on your side, and I'm saying that maybe he's not the person you think he is. Maybe the version of him you know, the one who takes you to hotels and tells you about his dreams, maybe that's not the whole person. Maybe there's another version that's more complicated and harder and less romantic. She stared at me. That's oddly specific. I just mean, people are complicated, especially people who cheat. They're good at showing you what you want to see. He's not like that. He's a good person in a bad situation. Maybe. Or maybe he's a person who's good at avoiding bad situations by creating new ones. She flinched. Why are you being like this? Like what? Like you know him. You've never even met him. I took a breath. This was it. The moment I could tell her the truth. Could say, actually, I've known him for 14 years. I've been married to him for 12. And the man you're in love with is the man I'm losing. But instead I said, you're right. I don't know him. I just know the pattern. And I don't want to see you get hurt. Too late, she said softly. I'm already hurt. We sat in silence for a while. Then she said, I think I'm going to end it. For real this time. No more chances. If he can't choose me now, he never will. That sounds like the right decision. Will you come with me? I blinked. What? When I do it. When I end it. I was thinking I could confront him at his office. Or I could call him. But what if I showed up at his house? Talked to him and his wife together. Laid it all out. No more secrets. My blood went cold. That's a terrible idea. Is it? Or is it the honest thing to do? She deserves to know. She deserves to not be lied to anymore. Julia, will you come with me? Please, I need someone there. Someone who won't let me back down. I felt trapped. If I said no, she might go alone. Might show up at my house, confront Marcus in front of me, and the whole thing would explode in ways I couldn't control. If I said yes, at least I'd be there. Could maybe manage the situation. Or maybe I just wanted to see it. The collision of my two worlds. The end I'd been avoiding. Okay, I heard myself say. I'll come with you. Thank you, she said, relief flooding her face. I knew you'd understand. You're such a good friend. Friend. The word felt like a knife. We planned it for Saturday. Julia would text Marcus, ask him to meet her. When he said he couldn't, that his wife was home, she'd tell him she was coming anyway. That it was time to stop hiding. That morning, I woke up next to Marcus and wondered if it was the last time. He was still asleep, one arm thrown across the pillow where I usually lay. He looked younger when he slept, more like the man I'd married. I wanted to hate him, wanted to feel the anger that had somehow eluded me for months, but I just felt sad for both of us, for the life we'd imagined that had turned into this. I got up, made coffee, waited. Marcus eventually came downstairs, already dressed to go somewhere. I have to run to the office, he said, Just for a few hours. I'll be back by lunch. Okay. You okay? You seem off. Just tired. He kissed my forehead, that habitual gesture that meant nothing anymore. Love you. You too. He left. An hour later, my phone buzzed. Julia. He's not answering. I told him I'm coming anyway. What's his address? I stared at the text. This was it. The last moment I could stop this, could tell her the truth, could confess everything and end this strange, awful game I'd been playing. Instead, I typed out my own address. She arrived at 2. I watched through the window as she parked, sat in her car for a long moment gathering courage, then got out and walked to the door. She was wearing jeans and a nice blouse, her hair pulled back. She looked nervous and determined. I opened the door before she could knock. Hey, she said, surprise flickering across her face. What are you doing here? I live here. She frowned, confused. This is Marcus's house. I know. I watched her process it. Watched the confusion turn to understanding, then to horror. No, she said. No, 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 you're not. You can't be. Natalie Chen, I said. Marcus Chen's wife. She backed away from the door like I'd struck her. Oh my God, this whole time? You knew? You knew and you… I let you tell me about my husband. Yes. Why would you do that? Her voice was rising. What kind of person does that? The kind who wants to understand why her marriage ended. The kind who needed to see what he chose over her. You're insane. She was crying now, mascara running again. You're both insane. Maybe, I agreed. Can you come in? I think we should talk. Talk? Talk about what? About how you've been lying to me for weeks? Pretending to be my friend while… She couldn't finish. I wasn't pretending to care about you, I said. I do care about you. That's the strange part. I don't believe you. Julia, please, come inside. Marcus will be home soon. You wanted a confrontation. Here's your chance. She hesitated, then anger seemed to win out over fear. She followed me inside. We sat in my living room, mine and Marcus's, and I made tea neither of us drank. She looked around at the photos on the walls, the evidence of our life together. How long have you known? She finally asked. Since March. I saw a text on his phone. And you didn't confront him? No. Why not? I thought about how to answer that, because I wasn't ready for it to be over. And I knew that once I said the words out loud, once I made him choose, there would be no going back. So you just, what, followed him? Spied on him? No, I just paid attention. And then I met you. You sought me out. You recognized me in the grocery store. I just didn't correct you. That's semantics. Maybe. She was quiet for a moment. He talks about you like your roommates, like you're strangers. We are, or we have been. That part was true. But you're still married. Yes. Do you love him? I considered this. I love who he was. I'm not sure I know who he is anymore. Do you? I thought I did. She wiped her eyes. I thought he was this amazing man trapped in an unhappy marriage. I thought I was, I don't know, saving him or something. God, I sound so stupid. You don't sound stupid. You sound like someone who fell in love with your husband, with the version of my husband he showed you, which is different from the version I've been living with. Is that supposed to make me feel better? No, it's just the truth. We heard a car door close. Marcus's car. We both went still, looking at each other. Are you ready for this? I asked. I don't know. Are you? Probably not. The front door opened. Marcus called out, Nat, I'm home. Then he walked into the living room and stopped dead. I'll never forget the look on his face. The shock. The fear. The dawning realization that his two worlds were colliding in the worst possible way. What? He looked between us. What is this? Hello, Marcus, I said calmly. Julia? He was pale. How did you… Why are you… She invited me. Julia said, her voice hard. Your wife, Natalie. The woman you've been lying to for 12 years. The one you told me was basically a stranger. Natalie, he turned to me. Please, let me explain. Explain what? I asked. The affair? I've known since March. The lies? I've been cataloging them. How about you explain to Julia why you've been telling her you're going to leave me while telling me you love me and kissing my forehead every night like we're still okay? He sank onto the couch, head in his hands. I never meant for this to happen. Oh, that's original, Julia said. Do you know how many times you've said that to me? I never meant to fall for you. I never meant to make things complicated. Did you mean any of it? Of course I did. I do. Julia, don't. I cut him off. Don't tell her you love her in front of me. I think we've all been humiliated enough. How long have you known? He asked me. Really? I just told you. March. The text from J. Reeves. Not a very clever cover name, by the way. And you didn't say anything? No. Why not? Because I wanted to see what you'd do. If you'd come clean. If you'd choose. But you didn't, did you? You just kept going. Kept lying to both of us. Kept building this house of cards like it wouldn't eventually fall down. I didn't know how to end it, he said quietly. Either of it. I felt stuck. So you just stayed stuck? And lied to everyone? I didn't want to hurt you. Too late. Julia was crying silently. Did you ever actually plan to leave her? Marcus looked at her, and I saw the answer in his face before he spoke. I don't know. Part of me wanted to. Part of me thought maybe we could just keep going. That maybe you'd meet someone else, someone available, and I wouldn't have to choose. You're unbelievable, she said. You're actually unbelievable. I'm sorry. To both of you. I'm so sorry. Sorry doesn't fix this, I said. Sorry doesn't give me back the 6 months I spent pretending not to know. Sorry doesn't give Julia back the 7 months she spent building a future with someone who was never really available. What do you want me to do? He asked. Tell me and I'll do it. I want you to tell the truth. For once. The actual truth. Do you love her? He looked at Julia. Yes. Do you love me? Yes. In a different way, but yes. That's not good enough, Julia and I said at the same time. We looked at each other, and in that moment, something passed between us. An understanding. A shared exhaustion with his inability to choose. You have to pick, I said. Right now. Her or me. No more time to think about it. No more waiting for the perfect moment. You pick or we both walk away and you get neither. That's not fair, he said. Fair? Julia's voice was sharp. You've been sleeping with both of us for 7 months and you're talking about fair? I haven't slept with Natalie in... Don't, I said. Just don't. Answer the question, her or me. He looked between us, and I could see him trying to calculate, trying to figure out which answer would hurt less, which choice would be easier to live with. I can't, he finally said. I can't choose like this, under pressure. This isn't how... Then I'll choose for you, I said, standing up. Julia, you're free. Take him if you want him. The man who lies to everyone, who can't make a decision, who will string you along forever because he's too scared to hurt anyone's feelings. He's all yours. Natalie, wait. I'm done waiting, Marcus. I've been waiting for you to come back to me for 2 years, waiting for you to fight for us, waiting for you to choose. I'm done. Natalie, please. But I was already walking upstairs. I heard Julia say something, heard Marcus respond, but I couldn't make out the words. I went into our bedroom, my bedroom now, and sat on the bed. My hands were shaking. Finally, the anger I'd been waiting for had arrived. I pulled out a suitcase and started packing Marcus's clothes. I wasn't sure where he'd go, and I didn't care. He could figure it out. He'd been figuring things out behind my back for months. Let him figure this out too. 10 minutes later, there was a knock on the door. Julia. Can I come in? Sure. She stood in the doorway watching me pack. I left. I told him I don't want him. I stopped, a shirt halfway into the suitcase. Why? Because I realized something. Watching you two, watching him try to keep us both. He's not the person I thought he was. And even if he picked me, I'd never be able to trust him. I'd always wonder if he was doing to me what he did to you. That's probably smart. I'm sorry, she said, for all of this. For being the person who you didn't know when it started. No, but I knew he was married. I knew, and I did it anyway, because I told myself it was different. That we were special, but we weren't. We were just 2 people making bad choices. 3 people, I corrected. Marcus made choices too. Yeah, she came and sat on the bed next to me. For what it's worth, I think you're incredibly strong. The way you handled this. I would have been a mess. I am a mess. I just hide it well. Can I ask you something? Sure. Why did you befriend me? Really? I thought about it. I think I wanted to see what he saw, to understand what he found in you that he couldn't find in me anymore. And maybe I wanted to understand you too, to make you real instead of just the other woman, because it's easier to hate a concept than a person. Do you hate me? No. I probably should, but no. You're not the villain here. Neither am I. We're just 2 women who loved the same man and got burned by him. She nodded. We sat in silence for a moment. Then she said, I should go. Okay. She stood, then turned back. Will you be okay? Eventually. Will you? Eventually. She left. I heard her talking to Marcus downstairs, heard the front door close, heard her car start. Then Marcus's footsteps on the stairs. He appeared in the doorway. Julia's gone. I know. She said she doesn't want to see me again. Good for her. Natalie, your suitcase is on the bed. I'd like you to leave. This is my house too. Then I'll leave, but one of us is leaving tonight. Can we please just talk, really talk, about what, Marcus? About how you betrayed me? About how you've been living a double life? About how you sat across from me every night and pretended everything was fine while you were texting another woman? What is there to talk about? About why this happened? About what went wrong between us? I know what went wrong. We lost the babies. We got sad. We pulled away from each other instead of together. We stopped trying. But you know what? That happens. That's what for better or worse means. You don't get to just opt out when things get hard. You don't get to find someone new who doesn't carry all your sadness and pretend that's a solution. It wasn't like that. Then what was it like? He sat on the bed, deflated. I felt like I was drowning. After the second miscarriage, I felt like I was drowning, and you were drowning too, and we couldn't save each other. And instead of saying that, instead of fighting for us, I just retreated. And then I met Julia, and she was like air. She didn't know about the babies, didn't know about our failure, didn't look at me like I was broken. She just saw me, and it felt good to be seen. I saw you, I said quietly. Every day, I saw you. I was just seeing someone who was pulling away from me, and I didn't know how to pull you back. I know that now. Do you love her? I thought I did, but I think maybe I just loved the escape she represented, the chance to be someone different. That's not fair to her. I know. Do you still love me? He looked up, eyes red. Yes, God, yes. I never stopped. But you stopped being here. You stopped being present, and that's almost worse than not loving me. Because at least if you didn't love me anymore, I could understand why you left. I didn't leave. Yes, you did. Months ago. Your body stayed, but you left. We sat in silence. Outside, the sun was setting, painting the room in orange and pink. I think I need you to go, I finally said. Not forever, maybe, but for now. I need space to figure out what I want, what I can forgive. If I even want to forgive. Okay, he said. Okay. He stood, picked up the suitcase. Where should I go? I don't know, Marcus. Figure it out. You've gotten good at that. He flinched but nodded. At the bedroom door, he stopped. For what it's worth, I really am sorry. Sorrier than I know how to say. I know. Will you call me? Eventually? Maybe. He nodded again and left. I heard him moving around downstairs, heard him pack more things into his car, heard the front door close one final time. Then, silence. I lay back on the bed, our bed, my bed now, and waited for the tears. But they didn't come. Instead, I felt something else. Something like relief. Something like freedom. The next morning, I called a therapist, made an appointment for the following week. Then I called my sister, told her everything. She offered to come stay with me, but I said no. I needed to be alone, to figure out who I was without Marcus, without the role of wife I'd been playing for so long. Julia texted me 3 days later. How are you? Surviving. You? Same. Do you want to get coffee? Or would that be too weird? I thought about it. Let's try.
We met at the same coffee shop where we'd met all those other times. It was awkward at first, both of us unsure what we were to each other now. Not friends exactly, not enemies. Something in between. I've been thinking about what you said, Julia told me. About patterns. About people who cheat being good at showing you what you want to see. Yeah, I think I've been doing that my whole life. Dating emotionally unavailable men because it's safer than risking real intimacy. Marcus was just the most dramatic version of that. Have you talked to him? He's called, texted. I haven't responded. Have you? Once.
To discuss lawyer stuff. Separation agreement. You're really ending it? I think so. We have a therapy session next week. Couples therapy, ironically, to see if there's anything worth saving. But I don't think there is. Even if I could forgive the affair, I can't forgive the months of lying. The way he let me think I was crazy for feeling the distance between us. She nodded. I get that. We talked for an hour. About our lives, our plans, what we wanted. It was strange, this intimacy forged through shared trauma. But it was also oddly healing. I'm thinking about moving, Julia said. Fresh start. Maybe Portland. My sister's there. That sounds good. What about you? I don't know yet. I might stay. This is my home too, not just his. Why should I be the one to leave? Fair point. She smiled. You're stronger than me. No, just different strong. We started meeting regularly after that. Not often, but sometimes. Once a month, maybe. To check in. To remind each other that we'd survived. To laugh at the absurdity of it all. People thought it was strange, Marcus's wife and Mistress becoming friends. But they didn't understand. We were the only two people who really knew what had happened, who knew the full story. In that, we were bonded. Marcus and I went to 3 therapy sessions. In the first, he cried and apologized. In the second, I cried and told him how much he'd hurt me. In the third, we both acknowledged that we were done, that too much had broken to fix. We decided on divorce. Amicable, the lawyer called it. It didn't feel amicable. It felt like failure. The papers were finalized 6 months after Julia showed up at my door. I signed them in my lawyer's office, hand shaking but resolved. Marcus signed them the same day. Just like that, 12 years were officially over. I spent that night alone in the house, my house now, fully mine, drinking wine and looking at old photos. Marcus and me on our wedding day, both so young and hopeful. Marcus and me on vacation in Greece, at my sister's wedding, in the house the day we bought it. All these moments of a life that seems so far away now, like it belonged to different people. Around midnight, Julia called. I heard, she said. Are you okay? I think so. It's strange. I thought I'd be sadder. Maybe you already did the grieving. Maybe. Want company? Actually, yes. She came over with ice cream, and we sat on my couch. The same couch where the 3 of us had sat that awful day, and ate it straight from the container. I'm moving next month, she said. Job opportunity came up in Portland. That's fast. I need fast. I need to be somewhere he isn't, somewhere I can start over. I get that. Will you come visit? Yeah, I'd like that. She left around 2. Before she went, she hugged me tight. Thank you, she said. For what? For not hating me, for understanding, for being, I don't know, human about all of this. Back at you. After she left, I sat in the dark house and thought about everything that had happened, about the marriage I'd had and lost, about the strange friendship that had emerged from betrayal, about who I was now, without Marcus, without the identity of wife. I thought about Marcus too, wondered how he was doing, if he regretted his choices, if he'd learned anything. Part of me hoped he had. Part of me hoped he was suffering. Both parts were probably right. I thought about the moment in March when I'd first known, how calm I'd been, how I'd chosen to wait, to watch, to understand. People might say I should have confronted him immediately, should have thrown him out, ended it cleanly. but I think I needed those months. Needed to see it all play out. Needed to understand not just what he'd done, but why, and what it meant about both of us. And I thought about Julia, about how easy it would have been to hate her, to see her as the enemy. But she wasn't. She was just another person, damaged by Marcus's choices. Another casualty of his inability to be honest. In a strange way, befriending her had been the smartest thing I'd done. It had let me see the situation clearly, without the filter of my own pain and assumptions. It had let me see Marcus clearly too. Not as the man I'd married or the villain who betrayed me, but as a deeply flawed human being, trying and failing to navigate his own unhappiness. 3 months after the divorce was finalized, I got a call from Marcus. We hadn't spoken since signing the papers. "Hi," he said, and his voice sounded different. Older, maybe. Or just tired. "Hi, I hope it's okay that I called. I wanted you to know that I started therapy. Real therapy, not just the couples counseling. And I've been working through a lot of stuff." "That's good, Marcus. I've realized some things about why I did what I did, about the ways I've been running from difficult things my whole life, about how I hurt you. Okay, I don't expect you to forgive me. I just wanted you to know that I'm trying to be better, to be more honest, to stop running. I appreciate that. How are you doing, really?" I considered the question. "I'm okay. Better than okay, actually. I'm figuring out who I am outside of being your wife. It's strange and scary, but also kind of exciting. I'm glad. You deserve to be happy." "So do you, Marcus. Just be honest next time, with whoever comes next. Don't do to them what you did to us." "I won't. I promise." We talked for a few more minutes, then said goodbye. I hung up feeling unexpectedly peaceful. Maybe that's what closure felt like. Julia moved to Portland. I visited her twice that first year. We hiked in the Columbia River Gorge and drank wine at viewpoints and talked about our lives. She was dating someone new, a teacher named Adrian, who knew everything about her past and chose her anyway. She seemed happy. I started dating too, eventually. Nothing serious at first, just testing the waters, learning how to be single at 36. It was terrifying and exhilarating. I went on bad dates and okay dates and a few really good ones. I learned what I wanted now, which was different from what I'd wanted at 24 when I'd met Marcus. I wanted honesty above all else. Wanted someone who would tell me hard truths, instead of protecting me from them. Wanted someone who would stay present, even when things got difficult. I found him 2 years after the divorce. His name was David. He was a social worker, divorced, no kids. We met at a conference for nonprofits. We talked for hours about our work, then about our lives, our failures, our hopes. I told him about Marcus and Julia on our 3rd date, expecting him to run. Instead, he said, "That must have been incredibly painful. How did you survive it?" And I told him the truth. By facing it instead of avoiding it. By trying to understand instead of just reacting. By making strange choices that nobody else understood, but that made sense to me. "That's brave," he said. "Or crazy. I'm still not sure which." He smiled. "Maybe both. Maybe the best things are." 3 years after the divorce, Marcus got remarried. I saw it on social media. He'd married someone from his office, a woman I'd never met. They looked happy in the photos. I hoped they were. I hoped he'd learned. I hoped he was giving her what he couldn't give me. Julia came to visit me that summer. We drove up the coast, stayed in a little inn overlooking the ocean, talked until dawn about everything and nothing. "Do you ever think about what would have happened if we'd handled it differently?" she asked. "If you'd confronted him right away instead of waiting? If I'd never met you?" "Sometimes, but I think it would have ended the same way. Maybe messier, maybe cleaner, but the same result. Because the marriage was already over. Because we'd both checked out. He just did it more literally than I did." "Do you think you'll marry David?" "Maybe, probably, but I'm not in a rush. I want to make sure we're really ready this time." "What does really ready mean?" that we've both done the work, that we know ourselves well enough to show up for each other, that we're choosing each other with our eyes open, not just falling into love because it feels good. She nodded. I think I'm getting there too, with Adrian. It's different than it was with Marcus. Slower, more honest, less dramatic, but more real. That sounds perfect. Yeah, it kind of is. 5 years after the divorce, I ran into Marcus at a coffee shop. We hadn't seen each other in person since the day we signed the papers. He looked different, older, but maybe more settled, less restless. Natalie, hi. Hi, Marcus. You look good, happy. Thanks, so do you. I heard you got engaged. Congratulations. Thank you. I heard you have a baby on the way. Yeah, a girl, due in December. That's wonderful, really. We stood there awkwardly, these two people who'd shared a life and now were strangers. But friendly strangers. Healed strangers. I think about you sometimes, he said. About us. About how badly I messed things up. We both messed things up, Marcus. It wasn't all you. Still, I wish I'd been braver, more honest. Me too. But we weren't ready to be those people then. Are you ready now? I thought about David, about the life we were building together, about the ways I'd learned to speak up, to ask for what I needed, to stay present even when things were hard. Yeah, I think I am. Good. You deserve it. So do you. We said goodbye, and I walked away feeling like something had finally, fully closed. A chapter ending the way it should have all along, with mutual respect and acceptance, and the understanding that sometimes love isn't enough if two people aren't ready for it. That night, I told David about running into Marcus. We were making dinner together in my kitchen, our kitchen, since he'd moved in 6 months earlier. How did it feel, he asked. Peaceful, like seeing an old friend who took a different path. No regrets? Only that we hurt each other, but not about how it ended. That needed to happen. He came up behind me, wrapped his arms around my waist. I'm grateful for how it ended, because it led you here. Me too. We stood like that for a moment, comfortable in the silence. Then he said, Julia called earlier, left a message. She and Adrian are engaged. Oh, that's wonderful. I should call her back. She said she wanted you to be in the wedding. Really? Really. She said you're one of her closest friends, that what you went through together bonded you in a way nothing else could. I thought about that, about the strange journey that had brought Julia and me from enemies to friends, about how trauma and honesty could sometimes forge deeper connections than years of normal friendship, about how life was never as simple as people wanted it to be. I'd be honored, I said. That October, I stood in Julia's wedding as her bridesmaid. It was a small ceremony in Portland overlooking the river. Adrian cried during his vows. Julia laughed and cried simultaneously. It was perfect. At the reception, Julia pulled me aside. Thank you, she said. For what? For everything. For not hating me. For becoming my friend. For helping me understand that what happened with Marcus wasn't love. It was just confusion and loneliness and bad timing. You helped me understand that too. We're a good team, considering we started as the worst kind of rivals. The weirdest origin story for a friendship, definitely. We hugged, and I realized how far we'd both come, how we'd taken something devastating and transformed it into something meaningful. Not because the betrayal was okay, it never would be, but because we'd chosen to be more than just victims of Marcus's choices. We'd chosen to understand, to grow, to connect. 6 months later, David and I got married in a small ceremony in my backyard. Julia and Adrian flew in for it. It was intimate, just close friends and family, and it felt right. When David and I exchanged vows, I promised him honesty above all else. Promised to stay present, to speak up, to never let us become strangers living in the same house. He promised the same. During the reception, my sister pulled me aside. You seem different, she said. Lighter somehow. I am lighter, I'm not carrying all that weight anymore. The Marcus weight? The weight of a marriage that was already dead, but we kept pretending it was alive. The weight of not being honest about what I needed. The weight of being afraid to end something that wasn't working. Are you happy? I looked across the yard at David laughing with his brother, at Julia and Adrian dancing, at all these people who'd shown up for me, for us. Yeah, I really am. That night, after everyone had gone, David and I lay in bed talking about the future, about whether we wanted kids, where we wanted to live, what dreams we still wanted to chase. And I realized this was what had been missing with Marcus, this willingness to be vulnerable, to plan together, to show up fully instead of holding back. Thank you, I said to David. For what? For being brave enough to choose me every day, for not running when things get hard. Back at you. We fell asleep tangled together, and I dreamed of nothing at all. Just peaceful, empty sleep. The sleep of someone who'd finally stopped running from her own life. 7 years after I first discovered Marcus's affair, Julia had her first baby, a boy named River. I flew to Portland to meet him, held him in my arms while she slept, exhausted from labor. Adrian stood next to me, watching his son with wonder. She talks about you a lot, he said quietly, about how you saved her. I didn't save her. We saved each other. Either way, I'm grateful you're in her life. When Julia woke up, I sat beside her hospital bed, and we talked about motherhood, about fear, about how strange it was that we were here together, after everything. Sometimes I think about that day, she said, when I showed up at your house. How terrified I was, how angry you must have been. I wasn't angry, not at you anyway. You should have been. Maybe. But anger wouldn't have helped either of us heal. You're wiser than me. No, just older and more tired. She laughed. Do you ever hear from Marcus? Christmas cards, birth announcements, that sort of thing. His daughter must be 3 now. Do you think he's happy? I think he's trying to be. Whether he's succeeding, I don't know. That's not my story anymore. What is your story now? I thought about it. About David and our little house, about my work at the nonprofit that I loved, about the friends I'd made, the life I'd built from the ruins of my marriage, about sitting here in this hospital room with a woman who should have been my enemy, but had become my friend. I think my story is about choosing to stay open even after being hurt, about finding connection in unexpected places, about learning that forgiveness isn't about forgetting what happened. It's about refusing to let what happened define you forever. Julia's eyes filled with tears. That's beautiful. It's also really hard. The best things usually are. I stayed in Portland for a week, helping with the baby, cooking meals, giving Adrian breaks so he could sleep. And I realized this was what family looked like now. Not the traditional kind, but the kind you built from choices and care and showing up. When I got home, David had made my favorite dinner. We ate on the back porch, watching the sunset, talking about our days. I've been thinking, he said, about what you went through with Marcus and Julia, and I want you to know, if we ever get to a place where you're unhappy, where something isn't working, I want you to tell me. Don't protect me from it. Don't wait and hope it gets better. Just tell me. I will. I promise. And I'll do the same. No secrets, no pretending, just honest, even when it's hard. Especially when it's hard. Especially then. We held hands across the table, and I felt something I hadn't felt in years. Complete trust. The knowledge that this person would stay, would be honest, would choose me even when choosing me was difficult. That was the gift Marcus's betrayal had given me, in the end. Not the betrayal itself. That remained a wound, a scar, a reminder of pain. But the clarity that came after, the understanding of what I needed, what I deserved, what I wouldn't tolerate again, the strength to demand honesty and give it in return, the wisdom to know that sometimes The kindest thing you can do is admit when something isn't working, instead of forcing it to survive. And it had given me Julia. This unlikely friendship born from shared trauma, built on mutual understanding, sustained by genuine care. We would never have met under normal circumstances, but we had met, and we had chosen to see each other as human beings, instead of as roles in a drama. And that choice had transformed both of us. 10 years after the affair, I got a letter from Marcus, an actual letter, handwritten, several pages long. In it, he apologized again, explained that he'd been in therapy for years now, working through his patterns, his fears, his inability to face difficult emotions. He said he understood now what he'd done, how he'd hurt me, how his cowardice had damaged multiple people. He didn't ask for forgiveness, just said he wanted me to know that he saw it now, all of it, and he was sorry. I read the letter twice, then put it in a drawer. Maybe one day I'd respond. Maybe I wouldn't, but it didn't matter as much as it once would have. His apology wasn't what I needed anymore. I'd already forgiven him. Not for his sake, but for mine. Had already let go of the anger and hurt and betrayal. Had already built a new life that didn't require his participation or validation. That evening, I showed the letter to David. "How do you feel?" he asked. "Grateful." For the apology? For the life I have now. The one I wouldn't have if that marriage hadn't ended. For you. For Julia. For everything I've learned. The affair was terrible. The lying was worse. But what came after, what I built after, that was worth it. You're incredible. You know that? I'm just someone who survived something hard and decided to learn from it instead of being destroyed by it. Like I said, incredible. We never had kids, David and I. We talked about it, considered it, but ultimately decided we were happy with our life as it was. We traveled instead, built careers we loved, cultivated deep friendships, chose each other every single day. Julia and Adrian had 3 kids eventually, River, then twin girls named Sage and Autumn. I was Aunt Natalie to all of them. They came to visit every summer, and David and I spoiled them with ice cream and late bedtimes and adventure. Marcus and his wife divorced when their daughter was 7. I heard it through mutual acquaintances. Apparently, he'd had another affair. Some patterns, it seemed, were harder to break than others. I felt sad for him, sad for his ex-wife, sad for his daughter. But I also felt grateful that I'd escaped when I did. That I'd refused to stay in a marriage with someone who wasn't willing or able to do the work of real intimacy. Now, sitting here at 50, looking back on everything that happened, I can say this. The affair wasn't the worst thing that ever happened to me. Staying in a dead marriage, pretending everything was fine, that would have been worse. The affair was painful, yes. The betrayal hurt, but it was also the catalyst that forced me to face truths I'd been avoiding. About my marriage, about myself, about what I needed to be happy. And meeting Julia, befriending her, understanding her, building a relationship with her, that taught me that people are complex. That there are rarely true villains in these stories, just flawed humans making mistakes, trying and failing to navigate their own unhappiness. That forgiveness and understanding can coexist with boundaries. That you can acknowledge someone's humanity while still choosing not to have them in your life. The story didn't end the way I thought it would when I found that text on Marcus's phone all those years ago. I thought it would end in anger and bitterness and loss. Instead, it ended in wisdom and friendship and a deeper love than I'd known was possible. Not with Marcus. We were wrong for each other in ways neither of us could fix. But with David, with Julia, with myself. Sometimes I think about that version of me who stood in the kitchen in March, watching steam rise from my coffee, feeling nothing as I read that text. I want to go back and tell her that it's going to be okay, better than okay, that the pain is real but temporary, that the life waiting on the other side of this heartbreak is richer and more honest and more real than anything she's known. But I can't go back. None of us can. We can only move forward, carrying our scars and our wisdom and our stories, choosing every day to stay open, to stay honest, to stay brave enough to love again, despite knowing how badly it can hurt. And that, in the end, is the only story worth telling.